So your Kolbe result,
Yeah.
your natural advantage, which is the little kind of intro quick hit, you are an answer authority. So when I hear your description of, I mean, you start with you're a salesperson, you're a seller. And I think for a lot of people that brings um, a preconceived notion of, oh, that means you're just like jump in risk taker, make stuff up as you go along. But for you, you're the answer person. So I was fascinated hearing your description of what you're doing, building markets and doing market research. You need the info. You get the scoop. You do your homework. You come with numbers and facts and figures, and you don't just keep them in a notebook to yourself. You share them. You tell people. So you're not just the question authority. We could have put it that way too, because I imagine you are asking questions all the time in meetings, whether that's with clients, with bosses, with friends. By the way, this just isn't something that just happens at work. This is who you are all the time. So yeah, you ask questions, but you give a lot of information, including, by the way, when you're not asked to give information, which, and by the way, I am also an answer authority. So none of this is a criticism. If you hear me saying something that sounds like it's a negative, it's just I mean to be lighthearted, but
Yeah.
there are things we get in trouble for. Like I'll admit, sometimes I get in trouble for going on a little too long sharing information, and I kind of have to notice some body language and other things. You're a little bit the same way, I would imagine. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think it sounds spot on. Like I do like to ask questions. I do like to kind of do the research right before I get in there. And I think what you're saying is I'm naturally nosy, which is true. Like, right? Like I'm just a very curious person. And so moving into market research and learning like consumer insights, quant and qual and that whole thing, and kind of trying to uncover what I want to leverage in my sales pitch is really, I think, one of the reasons why I became so successful as an enterprise seller. And even here at Airbnb, right, there's a lot of data that I have at my fingertips about
Mhm.
everything, and being able to decide what of that data is appropriate for whatever project that I'm working on, and then how to funnel that up is also one of my strong suits. I am going to disagree with you on a little bit, though.
Okay.
I do not ask a lot of questions on team meetings and team calls. That's where the imposter syndrome kicks in for me. And I can ask them private. I can ask my manager, hey, what did they mean by that? But I'm not that person that in front of the whole group is going to be like, hey, what did you mean by whatever that word was or whatever that thing was that just flew over my head? I will get to the bottom of it, and I'm not going to make it up, but a public one is probably not gonna be where I'm gonna go.
I get it. And thank you for that kind of correction, or I wouldn't even call it a correction, just adding to it. What I want to use that to talk about is about the way you take action. It's called the conative part of the mind. So that's you need information. You need to get answers. That's the way you problem solve. You jump in by getting information and by sharing it. What you're describing, though, and that's where the kind of correction or additional information is, that that sense of, okay, but in what context are you comfortable doing it? That's more the affective side of who you are. So you're more comfortable getting that information. You have a preference for doing that more behind the scenes. It sounds like
Mm-hmm.
not in front of the whole group. Maybe doing it before, maybe doing it after. If the questions pop up in your head, maybe you jot them down. Actually, I would suggest, and this is a really important one for somebody like you, because you have different parts of who you are as a whole person. So you're going to have all these questions. And if you don't think in the team meeting is the right time to do it, don't lose track of them. Like part of
Sure.
your confidence will be when you can get those answers, you can go back into it later. And if you have the questions and you forget about them, which we all do from time to time, that can make you feel a little sometimes unprepared or,
Right.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
So don't lose track of them. Write them down. That imposter syndrome that you mentioned pops up in different ways, I think, for almost everybody at various times. Um, Definitely more of an affective thing. It's not about your cognitive strengths. And I think one thing that learning your Kolbe results can help with for you and for kind of everybody is understanding, you know what? I'm not an imposter. Like this part of me, this answer authority part of me, yeah, people can count on me to get good questions. Again, whether you're asking them in a meeting or not, you come up with great questions. You not only have insights by using your strength in gathering and sharing information. So you don't only have the, oh, I did the research and I now know it.
Yeah.
Part of that is also the question phase of that. And I'm not saying you need to ask the questions in a meeting, but I will tell you, you're not an imposter, Tron. Like that is who you are. And I'm sure you're awesome at it. So don't hide it. Like
Okay.
do it how you're comfortable doing it. Maybe add them in. I mean, I'm already getting a sense from you that you are very comfortable meeting people and talking. You're not a blushing violet, you're not a wallflower. But I hear that in a team meeting, that's when you maybe don't want to ask those questions, but maybe figure out a way to do it a little more often so you can show to yourself. I don't care about the other people because they already know you're not an imposter. Show yourself like, no, this is what I bring to the table. And it's amazing.